When you think about successful media today, what comes to mind, right? It's all about that high production value, the slick editing, the perfect sound. But what if I told you that one of the most dedicated, most engaged communities online is rallying around a show that basically just throws all of that right out the window? Okay, so let me throw a puzzle at you. Imagine a show, it's got almost 600 episodes in the can, and it's not just that, they're broadcasting live every single day. I mean, by any metric, this thing should be an absolute behemoth in its space, right? But here's the crazy part. You go look for it on the podcast charts, and it's a ghost. It's just not there. So what on earth is going on? All right, to even start cracking this puzzle, we got to understand the playing field. Let's take a look at the big dogs, the titans of cybersecurity podcasting. What does a top show in this world even look like? So, for example, you've got a show like Darknet Diaries. If you're in this world, you know it. It's famous for these incredible deep dive stories from the dark side of the internet. It's really the gold standard. People talk about its hypnotic narration, its documentary level production, its top tier stuff. And they've got other giants, right? Like Smashing Security. They go a different route. Still super polished, comes out like clockwork every week, but they use humor to break down really complex security news. It makes it way more accessible for, a wider audience. So you see the pattern here, right? The formula for success in this world seems pretty clear. It's all about high production value, polished editing, great storytelling, a regular schedule, whether that's weekly or monthly, and of course, being visible on the charts. The host is kind of like your trusted narrator, guiding you through the story. Okay, so we've established the rules of the game. Now, let's talk about the show that breaks all of them. Let's dive into the enigma that is the Cybermidnight Club. Seriously, it's like this show exists in a totally parallel universe. And this right here is the central contradiction. On one hand, you have just insane levels of activity. We're talking nearly 600 episodes, live shows every day. But on the other hand, almost zero visibility, barely any ratings, a tiny subscriber count on paper. It's like a Ferrari engine roaring away inside a garage with the door locked. The power is there, but it's completely off the grid. And get this, the guy behind it all has hosted over 1,900 live shows on X Spaces. Let that sink in. That works out to more than one show every single day for 4 years straight. That's not just, consistency. That is a level of dedication that is just mind-boggling. Okay, and this is where the plot really thickens. Take a look at where people are listening. Yeah, you see a solid chunk on Apple Podcasts and another big piece on Podcast Addict, which, by the way, is a platform for serious tech fans. But look at Spotify. It's tiny. We're talking about one of the biggest audio platforms on the planet. This tells you something really important. The audience for the show isn't just stumbling upon it. They are seeking it out. They are intentional. So what is the deal here? How do you have this massive output and this tiny public footprint? Well, the answer is that we've been looking at it all wrong. We need to completely flip our idea of what the show even is. And here it is, the big reveal. The podcast? That's not the product. It's just an archive. It's a library of what already happened. The real show, the main event, is the raw, unscripted, live conversation that happens every single day. That's the actual product. It's a community event, not a produced piece of media. And at the absolute center of this whole thing is the host, Alberto Daniel Hill. And see, he's not just a narrator telling a story from a distance like in those other shows. He is the story. His personal journey, which is incredible, it includes being the first person reportedly ever imprisoned for a computer crime in his home country of Uruguay. That story is the bedrock of this entire community. This isn't just some expert talking about stuff, it's a survivor talking from within it. You can't fake that kind of authenticity, it's just real. And his production process is genius in its simplicity. It's basically 3 steps. 1, he hosts the raw, live, unscripted show. 2, he pipes that audio into an AI that spits out a transcript and a summary. And 3, he just uploads the raw audio file and those AI notes as the daily podcast. That's it. It's this brilliant mix of raw human connection and super smart lean automation. So, you see, this was never a failed attempt to be a traditional podcast. It's a completely different strategy, a whole other game. It's not trying to compete on polish or how high it gets on the charts. It's competing on raw authenticity, that insane consistency we talked about, and deep community engagement. And on those terms, It is absolutely crushing it. The way he handles the content is also super smart. It works on two levels. You have these bigger, broader topics, like deep dives into hacker culture, stuff about Anonymous, that act like a magnet, pulling new people in. But the real glue, the thing that keeps the core community coming back day after day, is the daily stuff. The sharp critiques of big tech and privacy, and of course, the ongoing personal narrative of Alberto himself. Now let's look at where the listeners are. At first glance, you see the US is the biggest slice, over half the audience. Totally makes sense. But I want you to zoom in with me on this one little slice right here, Uruguay. It looks small, right? Almost insignificant. But trust me, this tiny piece of the pie is the key to understanding this whole thing. That little slice represents almost 2.5% of the entire global audience. Now, that might not sound like a lot until you remember that Uruguay is a tiny country. We're talking about a population of just 3.5 million people. So for them to make up that much of the audience, it's completely disproportionate. It's huge. And why is that? It's a direct result of Alberto Hill's personal, localized story. This is the proof, right here, in the data, that a deeply authentic human story, even one rooted in a small country, can build a powerful, hyper-engaged community that punches so far above its weight on the global stage. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, it becomes so clear. Cybermidnight Club isn't failing to compete with the elite shows. It's not even trying to. It's winning at a completely different game. The goal was never to top the charts. The goal was to build a fortress of community. And this table just lays it out perfectly. Look at the difference. The elite shows, they're polished and edited for an audience that passively listens. The anti-podcast, it's raw and unfiltered for a community that actively participates. The elite cadence is maybe monthly. Here, it's daily and live. And the host role is the biggest difference of all. One is a narrator telling you a story. The other is the main character living it. So yeah, the elite model wins on production value, for sure. But the anti-podcast model is winning on authenticity, that relentless consistency, and a kind of direct community engagement that the polished shows they just can't touch. It's a totally different value proposition. So what does all this mean for the future? Well, this whole story leaves us with a pretty big, provocative question. And it goes way beyond just podcasts. Think about it. We live in an age where everything is getting slicker, more polished, more AI-generated, more perfect. In a world like that, what's the most valuable thing a creator can actually offer? Maybe, just maybe, it's radical, unfiltered human authenticity. Maybe it's just proof that they're real. So the question is the anti-podcast an anomaly, or is it a glimpse of the future?